Hi, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here with the Ruttenberg Library. I hadn't done any book hauls yet, so I wanted to basically present to you my very first book haul. We'll call this the January 2020 book haul. Every year for Christmas, my family has found that I am probably the easiest person to shop for, because if you get me a gift card to Amazon, I'm pretty happy, and gives me a chance to build up my nonfiction collection, and I can get books on the cheap, which I really like. And after watching several of your guys' videos, I've found that you guys are pretty much the same as me. So anyway, let's get started. So the first book that I wanted to present to you is by James McPherson. It's Tried by War, Abraham Lincoln as Commander-in-Chief. And the book is supposed to be all about him as Commander-in-Chief. In his introduction, McPherson writes about how other authors have tackled various subjects, slavery and just as president, but they've never did an in-depth study of just him as Commander-in-Chief. And so I thought this would be a good one. James McPherson, you'll remember, he wrote the book Battle Cry for Freedom, which won the Pulitzer Prize. Awesome book. I would highly recommend that read. He also has written a book, Abraham Lincoln in the Second American Revolution, I think is what it was called, and that was really good. And he wrote a book on Hollow Ground, where he takes you through a walk through Gettysburg, and it was really good. So this book, Tried by War, I am expecting it to be a good one. It is oh, look at that. Isn't that awesome? That's the end pages. It's that famous photo of Lincoln and McClellan outside of Antietam. This book is from the Penguin Press, printed in New York, 2008. It's got some black and white photos in the middle, some pretty famous photos, kind of typical photos that you'll find in these books. But he gives a good caption for each of these that you see, and I expect that to be a very good read, good addition to my Lincoln collection. So that's the first book I've got for you. The second book is by Philip Shaw Paluden, or I hope that's how you say it, Paluden, but it's A People's Contest, the Union and Civil War, 1861 to 1865, and this happens to be a second edition. And there's the covers, and this would be a University Press of Kansas, and it was printed in again, that's the second edition. First edition was in '88. This one's in 1996, and basically a history of the Civil War. And being a fan of the Civil War, I have high expectations for that. I've seen Paluden's name in several of the sources at the back of other books I've read, and I just hadn't had a chance to read anything by him, so I'm hoping that's going to be a good one. Well, let's see. Do I have any more with the Revolution or Civil War? I mean, okay, let's go to the Revolution. So, in my collection, I have a couple of books from the New American Nation series, which was a history of the United States by Harper Books. And I didn't have the whole collection, I just happened to have a couple of them. So I looked up all the books that are in that collection, because I'm kind of a nerd for book lists, and I like to have the whole shebang. And so I was looking, and these were just a couple of them I picked up. This one is The Coming of the Revolution, 1763 to 1775 by Lawrence Henry Gibson, again from Harper Touch Books. It's a paperback. Now, I've not read any of his works, but he is sourced a lot, so I'm guessing that it should be pretty good stuff. Let's see here. Printed in New York, and it is a 19 1962 printing, originally in 1954, but this one's in 1962, and so that should be a good one. Let's see here. Here is, we'll stick with this revolution theme. Here's The Return of George Washington, 1783 to 1789 by Edward Larson. A beautiful cover. Absolutely love that. Here's the back of the book. And this one's got really cool end papers as well. Really cool painting of Mount Vernon there, overlooking the Potomac. Fabulous book. This one is from, let's see, HarperCollins, and it is a 2014 book. And so I collect George Washington books along with Abraham Lincoln books, and so this will be a real good addition to my Washington collection. So this is it is a hardback, if I didn't mention that. Here is The Forging of the Union, 1781 to 1789. This is by Richard B. Morris. Now, and it's a hardcover. I've read some other stuff. I don't know if I've read a whole book, but I've read some brief essays by him. And so I'm hoping this will be a good one as well. This is also in that New American Nation series. It's from Harper and Row Publishers, of course, printed in New York, and this one was from 1987. So I'm hoping that'll be a good one. You can't go wrong with the founding of our nation. And speaking of that, here is another one from the New American Nation series, The Founding of the American Colonies, 1583 to 1666. So this is a really early one. And this book does not have the dust jacket, which kind of bothers me, but I guess beggars can't be choosers. But there's the cover of that. Again, hardback. Nothing on the back because I imagine the dust cover had it. Or dust jacket. Harper and Row, printed in New York. And this one is a 1970 book, it looks like. And by the way, does anybody out there know where you can get just if you can't get the original, but maybe even just a reprint of the dust jacket for old books that have lost theirs? I guess I have no clue. And I would really like to, even if it is just a reprint, just a jacket to protect this book. If you know how to do that, please leave a comment. Here's another one about Theodore Roosevelt. Now, I have back on the shelf back here, Theodore Rex by Edmund Morris. And if you're not familiar with Edmund Morris, he wrote a great biography on Reagan that was called Dutch. He wrote this trilogy on Theodore Roosevelt. And again, I had the second book back there, and so I hate reading books out of order. It drives me insane. So I went and bought the first book in the trilogy, and eventually I'll get the third book. And this one is The Rise of Theodore Roosevelt. And again, first book in the trilogy. It is a paperback, and I got stuck with the, unfortunately, when you buy from Amazon, sometimes you get a broken cover or a bent up cover, and this one unfortunately has that. But again, you know, when you're looking for books on the cheap, sometimes beggars can't be choosers. So I think eventually I'd probably like to get these in hardback if I can, but for right now my paperbacks are good. I got another book on the era of Theodore Roosevelt, 1900 to 1912, again from that New American Nation series, and again without a dust jacket. And if anybody out there knows how you can even get reprints, that would be great. Again, from Harper and Row, and printed in New York. And this one is a 1958 book. But Theodore Roosevelt, in recent years, he's become one of my favorite people to read about. He's very, very interesting character. I really enjoy reading about him. Got a lot accomplished as president. Anyway, the last book in this book haul for January was Thomas Fleming's Washington's Secret War, The Hidden History of Valley Forge, which I am reading right now, and it is a fabulous looking book also. And there's that, and there's the back cover, and you got to see it's got some cool pictures in it, so some black and white pictures in there. Let's see, does it have maps? I can't remember. Oh, it's got some black and white nice photos in the middle there. But it is a Smithsonian Books from HarperCollins Publishers, and this one was printed in 2005. So I spent, for the 9 books, I spent approximately $50. I thought I did pretty decent. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think I did all right? Let me know. If you like the video, please like that down below, and feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and share the video with others. And until next time, have a great night. Bye.